Welcome to the Big Book Roundtable in the RICO 12 family of recovery resources. We're grateful to be a resource to you and to anybody experiencing the disease of alcoholism, no matter how it manifests. This is a program or a practice and an exercise in walking line by line through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, deep diving into insights, meanings, experience, strength, and hope from the Big Book. And I'm grateful to be here. I'm Justin B., a son of an all-powerful, perfectly loving God and a multidisciplinary addict. And I'm grateful to be living the miracles of recovery one day at a time. And I'm here with Nikki M. and David G. And let's have each of them introduce themselves as we take a seat around this round table. Nikki, why don't you start us off?
Hi, everybody. I'm just so grateful to be here with these two spearheads, and we're here seeking power rather than worshiping the information in our big book. We're just grateful that you joined us, and I'm remembering I'm a loving power. I have a loving, powerful God, and I'm grateful to be at this table this morning. I'm excited to finish out this chapter. I can't believe this is moving quick.
It is. All right, Nikki, thank you for sharing and introducing yourself. David, why don't you take a minute and introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everybody, I'm David G. I'm an alcoholic addict from Oklahoma in the USA. Grateful to be here with my two buddies, and really grateful for my recovery, which began on August 8th of 1994. So thanks for having me at the round table today.
Thanks for joining me and Nikki. David, happy to have you here. As I mentioned, we go line by line through the big book here. Today, we're going to be closing out the chapter Into Action. We'll start at the bottom of page 87, the paragraph that begins with, as we go through the day, we pause, and we'll just finish up the chapter. The next chapter is entirely devoted to step 12. Excited to get in there. I'll just go ahead and start reading, and then we'll get into our experience, strength, and hope and sharing. As we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful. We ask for the right thought or action. We constantly remind ourselves we are no longer running the show, humbly saying to ourselves many times each day, "Thy will be done." We are then in much less danger of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, or foolish decisions. We become much more efficient. We do not tire so easily, for we are not burning up energy foolishly as we did when we were trying to arrange life to suit ourselves. It works. It really does. We alcoholics are undisciplined. So we let God discipline us in the simple way we have just outlined. But this is not all. There is action and more action. Faith without works is dead. The next chapter is entirely devoted to step 12. And that's the end of this chapter. So let's go through here. Nikki, why don't you take us through these paragraphs and share your experience, strength, and hope and some of the insights you have.
Wow. Well, this is a lifestyle for a lifetime, everybody. I entered the rooms 13 years ago because I didn't know how to pause. I did not know how to pause. I came in here dying in a murderous, homicidal, suicidal rage in the rooms of Al-Anon. And I've never left. And I've entered into many, many other fellowships. There's one way, one lifestyle. So pause. My line out says pause land. So everybody design in your mind. Remember, this is all about our thought life. We've entered a spirit world. We are into action daily and pause land. It looks a lot of different ways, and I can do some things that David can't do and that Justin can't do, and David and Justin can do things I can't do. Why? Our behavior patterns vary, self-manifest in various ways, so keep your eyes off me, please. My pause land looks very different from you. When agitated or doubtful, I teach my sponsees that if step 5 promise of perfect peace and ease alone is not coming true, you are agitated or doubtful. And you better ask God. Stop calling your sponsor. You're beyond human aid. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, says the sponsee. Hello? You need to ask God for the right thought and actions. See, in the last podcast, Justin said something very important. Faith without works is dead. I'm watching a lot of people, including the people I love, die because they just have faith and no works. This is a radical program, and most will not make it. I'm watching people drop dead. I'm in the city of Toronto, Canada, downtown, and we just buried a young man, 42 years old, Justin and David, relapsed. Fentanyl was in it. He did not want to die. We constantly line out. You never get a day off. Remind yourself, Nikki, that you are no longer running the show. You quit playing God. Why? It doesn't work. Quit playing God. It doesn't work. You're a humble servant. Humble servant. Remind yourself all damn day, every day, Nikki, thy will, God's will, be done. Because I'm always in danger of excitement. I live in 2025, and I don't like to play by my government's rules. I don't like to be held hostage. I didn't like when I lost my job in COVID. And so I better sit down, hang out in pause land for 2.5 years when I can't fly to see my daughter in sunny California, where she lives in Napa Valley, or my boyfriend in Luxembourg, because I will be in a lot of danger of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, and I'll make a lot of foolish decisions. I did none of that. I sat in pause land and I sponsored. And then God sent me you. We started a podcast, Justin, and then David G came in and blew us right into another dimension. See, I'm not tired so easy. I'm 51 years old. I'm going to ride my bike to a guy from church, and you're going to love this, Justin. He came in 4 years ago. I met him, and we were volunteering. He's a young guy, and he's getting married today. And he invited me to City Hall, and I arranged the lunch, and it was just like a day of like glory and God. So like miracles. And I got the energy to do that. It's crazy. I'm like a teenager, everybody. And I think I look like one. You guys can tell me after. And then it says, I'm not arranging life. Al-Anon's codependence. It says in my book, we're going to read it because we're going to make it through these important chapters. I'm to never, never arrange anyone's life. Remember, I quit playing God. Remember, I'm never, never to arrange anyone's life this weekend. It's spring here. I asked my son, can you come and help me with some yard work? Crickets, 20 years old, crickets. Instead of losing my mind and making foolish decisions, I just got busy in the backyard and did it myself. Because this program works, because I tap power, and because I'm disciplined. Go deep, everybody. We addicts are undisciplined, and that's where most of my friends die. Soldiers, spearheads, wake yourself up. Let God discipline you. What does that mean, Nikki? That means you better let responsibility discipline you. You better let humility and love and forgiveness, Nikki, discipline your sorry ass when you are deep in anger, hate, and resentment, because the book says that will kill you. Not your neighbors, your resentment towards them. Nikki, you better let honesty and acceptance discipline you every day, all day. You better let being active, being prompt, being zealous in this lifestyle of a spirit world, being patient. Nikki, shut up, sit down, have God sit on your tongue and do the next right thing. Posting weird things on social media doesn't work for you. I haven't done that in a decade. I lose friends real quick that way. So, this is a simple lifestyle in the way these past 88 pages of outlines. And there's more action. Hey, I love you enough to tell you you never get a day off. Justin, you're in my noodle chat. I get a lot of flack. I started a fellowship, God showed me how, years ago, called Spiritual Gangster. The message started getting watered down with outreach calls and easier, softer methods. So I had to start Noodle with Nikki, where we don't play around, full stop. Because faith without works is dead, and outreach calls don't work. So I'm going to stay and learn how to practice step 12 every damn day, or I'm not going to make it, you guys. I won't make it. Why? I'm in the grip of a progressive illness. I get worse, never better. My house is clean. My bank account is pretty spotless, but I'm undisciplined in my thinking, in my belief system. in my new attitude. So I need to have my thought life also disciplined, not just my actions. This is so radical. Most won't make it. I will. I sound really weird this morning, but man, people are dropping dead and they want to argue for their character defects. So if that works for you and you still want to cling on to them, we'll be here waiting for you to trudge this happy road of destiny. That's all I got to say about that.
Thank you, Nikki, for walking us through that. David, why don't you take us through those paragraphs and share your experience, strength, and hope as we close out this chapter?
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. Again, I don't have my book in front of me, and I'm not here to break it down today, line by line, sentence by sentence. But my experience with this is very beautiful if practiced. You know, the way that it's asking us to do here. I love in the last episode, Nikki talked about her lyre or the harp or whatever you call it. Let me tell you a quick story. There's no guy lived way up in the hills with his wife. He went to town one day. He's at a 5 and dime store. That's what we call them out here in Oklahoma. And he found this damn fiddle, harp, lyre, whatever you want to call it. It only had 2 strings on it. It's supposed to have 5 or 6. And he didn't know any better. He thought that's just the way it was. So he come home and he beat that damn thing. He played all day, all night. That woman was going crazy. Hell, she was ready to drink over it, you know. And so one day she went to town and she saw somebody else playing a harp. Had 6 or 8 strings. It was beautiful, beautiful. She come back and said, you know, you've been doing that all wrong. And he was like, how do you figure? And she said, I was downtown and I seen a guy who had one and he was playing it. It had 8 strings. It was beautiful. And his response was awesome. He said, well, that guy, I don't know, you know, he may be doing something different, but I found what the hell I want. And that's what meditation is. You may do it differently. I don't really care. I'm missing a string. You missing a string. We're good. We're good because that's the way it is. But these, you know, ending this chapter is so powerful. You know, as we go through the day, we pause. How many of us really do that, honestly? You know, when I'm pissed off, man, I go to bare knuckles, you know, or I used to. I don't do that so much anymore, but I still, you know, I get a little feisty. But, you know, if I pause when agitated, we ask. Anytime you see those 2 words in the big book, it's a prayer. So it just keeps bringing us back to prayer and keeps bringing us back to prayer. You know, and so, you know, when I do that, I'm good. Whenever I don't, I'm okay. I'm not bad. You know, it's just what's my willingness that day. And so on the next page, it talks about, and I love how Nikki responded to this. It talks about energy and it talks about not being worn out so easy. God, I can remember in 2019 when I was in the middle of my sex addiction, man, I was so lazy, so slothful. It's all I could do to make it to work every day. Man, I was just worn out. I'd come home, sleep all afternoon, get up, eat something in the evening, go back to bed, sleep all night. And that was my lifestyle. Just act out, act out, act out. I couldn't do nothing more. When I come through this process, man, I really woke up. And those few sentences on page 87 there really came alive, or 88. And I started practicing being with my wife, being present with my wife more, putting my phone away whenever we were together, taking care of dinner, doing laundry. You know, people's like, you know, hell, that's women's work, whatever. You know, my book says we practice these principles in all of our affairs. And so I can remember she come in one day. She was working at the time, and I was off. And she had got a power washer. She was wanting to power wash our driveway. And, you know, I love keeping my lawn looking good and stuff. And it just wore out. She didn't know anything about it. And I remember going out there, getting the damn thing out of the shed, sweeping the dust off of it, putting gasoline in it, starting it up. I power washed the whole damn driveway. And that's a job. That's a job now. And I had that done before 11 o'clock in the morning. I mowed, I raked the grass, I got up on the house, I took the damn Christmas lights down. This was in the summer. I'd leave them up there all the time. I did all that shit. I grilled lunch. She was like, where in the hell are you getting all this energy from? She thought I was back to using opioids. It's like, no, I'm in a different place now. See, we don't tire out so easily because we're following a different way of life now. And it's just a beautiful thing to be a part of. I love having conscious contact with God. And like I said on the last episode, I'm not always quiet when I do that. I've got a lot going on today. I got to meet with an attorney, do a power of attorney for my mother. I'm taking care of her home, getting her ready to come home next week. She fell, broke her hip, had a really nasty fall, laid for 48 hours, almost died. And I mean, I've just got all this going on, conference call with my brother, this. But what I did this morning was I got up, I prayed, I went and got my boat, I put it in the driveway, I'm fixing to rinse it down. And after all that shit is done, I'm going to the lake and I'm going to hang out today. And I'm going to have big catfish. I've got all my hooks right there ready. And you know what? That's meditation for me. It's time that I can go out, be quiet, spend time with God. And I don't have to be quiet and listen, like Nikki was saying in the last one. I hear the birds. I hear fish flopping. Hell, I can cast a net, catch tons of bait for my lines. And man, that's a spiritual experience. It's like, wow, And what's so cool about that is I'll come back, I'll clean them up real good. I'll put them in the freezer. And on Mother's Day, I'll cook them and take them up to my little mom because she's only 90 pounds. She won't hardly eat. And she's just wilting away. But she damn sure eats my fish. Trust me. She loves it. And so I'm going to fry her up a big bunch for Mother's Day. So see, meditation for me, I get to go out enjoying all that with God. And then I get to do something that will help somebody else. It will help her. It'll help. It's a great way to live, y'all. I mean, this is so much more than just getting sober and being sober. Of course, that's first. But if we do this, then, we get to grow into a beautiful life. And that's what I want to do today. I want to be of use to God's children. And I know I'm going to fail at it every day. My first sponsor used to tell me all the time, David, and this was in the beginning, he said, if you spend any more than 15 minutes in meditation, it's going to turn into a sexual fantasy and it's going to be lost anyway. So start with 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it may be, and then work your way up with God as you go. And, that's what I've done. Some days, whenever I can't hear God, I mean, my mind is just kicking my ass. I back off meditation. It's like I'm trying to push open a door that's not going to open. For me, quit doing that shit. I mean, if it's not working that day, you know what? I'll get another chance tomorrow, maybe later on today. But, I used to take all this so serious. You got to. That shit's religion. So for me, I just enjoy the presence of God through the presence of other people. And he says, and I heard this, and I'll close with this, wherever God is, there's always, always beauty. And I know he's here today because I'm looking at 2 beautiful people that have come into my life about a year ago. And man, we've rock and rolled through this big book all the way up through here. So, and we got a hell of a bunch more to go. So y'all get ready. Justin, thank you for your service. Nikki, love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. All right, I've got a couple questions here. Nikki, one thing that I am really impressed about you is how disciplined you are. You keep a tight schedule. You're disciplined. You let God discipline you. Talk to us a little bit about that concept of we're undisciplined. We need to let God discipline us.
Well, it's number one. I mean, I have to say, I don't want to bring all this stuff in. I'm a Virgo. I'm a mom. I'm all these, type A personality. But as I said, none of that mattered when I was undisciplined with my mind, my thoughts, my legs falling open for anyone and everyone who would look my way. So there's, it says like we practice, David said it, we practice these principles in all areas. So what does that look like? I mean, I just said it. It says we practice these principles. And a big principle is being disciplined and being responsible. It's the opposite of the character defect of what David said, sloth. It's a sloth. And so a lot of the time the book says we put pen to paper and everyone will be like, Nikki, that's for a resentment. No, that's for a list of things you need to do. We put pen to paper so we have a tight ass schedule, not a tight ass. We have a tight ass schedule. Go deeper. I love what David said. He's going to go and do the will and the power of attorney. My power of attorney and wills and my mom's have been done for a long time. Why? Because the only thing I know is I'm going to die. So I'm going to beg everyone listening to this podcast, go and get Nikki, I have nothing. You have something. You have something. You have a ring that people, I come from a Caribbean island with my dad. People fight over a banana tree. Families don't speak over $1. People want to keep, true story in my family. My grandmother did not have a will or a power of attorney written out. My uncle wanted to keep my grandmother alive. Meanwhile, my mother and I knew it was her end. And that was, my mother and her brother did not speak for 10 years over it. Untreated alcoholism runs deep. Remember, it manifests in many ways. So cross your T's and dot your I's. The book says we put pen to paper. These are life instructions. So, and again, I'm going to go deep on this. We had a thing recently, remember, where we weren't scheduling and things kind of went AWOL with our schedule at the roundtable. And I'll say this, and it's going to sound cold sometimes. I can get a new boyfriend, husband. I can get a new house. I can get a new mom and a kid. I can go adopt someone. I can't get more time. My time is so valuable right now, especially as I get older, Justin. See, I do not want to waste a moment. I've been reborn, and this life is beyond my wildest dreams. And Justin, nothing has changed. I'm not getting married anytime soon. My son is deep in his 20s and just fallen deep asleep in life. And my mom will live with me forever, because this is how the disease of alcohol goes. And I've never had it so good. I've never had it so good because I'm disciplined every day. And as David said, and I know you know this, we are not perfect. And I was like listening to my friend in Oklahoma and my friend in Missouri, Joyce M, says, without the test, you won't have the testimony. And I need these tests. I need these dark spots because the bright spots are so bright. So if you're out there, make sure you write your wills, get your power of attorney, let the people you know that love and know, get them disciplined with you in these things in all areas of your life. So I hope I answered that question, because with the discipline comes freedom to sit on a fishing boat and cook your mom catfish. Wow. I'm in love with both of you. I'm in love with this life. I'm in love with every single spirit on this planet. You are me and I am you. Let's all stay disciplined together.
Thank you for walking through that, Nikki. I love that. David, I've got kind of a procedural question for you. In step 10, we continue to watch for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, fear. In step 11, it says we pause when agitated or doubtful. Talk to me a little bit about the difference of that or how they may work together. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they definitely work together for me because I'm impulsive. I act on emotion quick, and so if I'm able to pause, I'm going to save some dishonesty. I'm going to save some fearfulness. I'm going to, I just am. Not that I'm going to be able to do that every single day, but absolutely, they work together for me, because if I'm keeping a check on all of these things throughout the day, I'm doing an evening review of my day, and I'm beginning meditation with this, then I've entered a new way of life here. It's so important, for me to remember that the four absolutes are the opposite of what's mentioned there on page 84 and at the top of 86 in the evening review. All that is, it's really showing us that we are living against. So that takes us out of balance. That takes me out of pause. It really, I just kind of run on my own will. So for me, it's all of this stuff goes together. It just does. If you really look closely at the outline on the mechanics of the book on page 84, then really that's all that is steps 4 through 9. And since 4 through 9 is what brought the awakening about anyway, it would only make sense that I would continue to thrive and grow, in the spiritual life, because I've entered the world of the spirit, like Nikki has said many times. But entering it and staying in it is two different things. There are certain disciplines that I'm going to have to do in order to stay in that world of the spirit. And so what that is absolute honesty, unselfishness, purity, and love. And There again, no one's going to be 100% at that all the time. They're just not. I don't think it's ever expected for us to do that. But the word discipline, I did not like that. For many years and going through the Big Book, we get to that part of the book, and I was like, I don't like that. I'm not going to be disciplined by God, you, or anyone else. I'm just not. I was disciplined as a kid. I went to prison for a long time for killing a man. I was disciplined there. I've had a lot of discipline in my life. I don't want no more discipline. And I remember the guy looking at me and saying, could you accept the word discipleship instead? Shit. Yes. He said, well, let's don't use discipline in the way you see it, because it's just a term on page 47 that should have been listed on your terms, but it wasn't. So since we're here, let's trade that out for discipleship. So we let God grow us in discipleship in the way that we have just outlined in this book. I can accept that. So simple, not easy. So really good to be here. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, David. Let's do a real quick couple of takeaways. Nikki, why don't you give us a takeaway from our conversation today?
That I think, to sum it up, is again that we're never going to do this perfect. We're going to wake up. We're going to put one foot in front of the other. And more importantly, we're going to keep our head in the clouds with God and our feet on the ground next to our soldiers, our spiritual soldiers, not the soldiers of self. David talked about that's what we're destroying and destructing every day, is the soldiers of self. But we're more the soldiers of agape love. And I'm going to play my lyre, my mini harp, while we walk hand in hand together. Okay. I got to get to Oklahoma. I got to get to Idaho. I just love you guys. And that's it. I'm just starseeds.
Thank you, Nikki. All right, David, what about you? What's a takeaway you have from our conversation today?
Yeah, I'm going to FaceTime Nikki so I can hear that 4-string harp, lyre, whatever it's called. She can have her play me a tune and we can meditate while we do it, But, I think, guys, just being present as best you can in the moment is meditation. I mean, if you can't sit silent, don't worry about that. If you're not in access to go to an Indian sweat lodge or a retreat, or don't worry about that shit. That'll come, in God's time. But just try to be present in the moment as best you can. And when I can do that, I'm in meditation. For so long, I could listen to a Rolling Stones song, and I haven't listened to them in 20, 30 years, but I can still repeat that song to you out of my head. That's meditation. It's just channeled in the wrong direction. I don't want that anymore. I want it channeled in the other direction. So remember passages from the Big Book. Remember passages from the Bible. Remember passages from Emmett Fox. That's meditation. There are so many forms of meditation. There just is. Just don't ever take away from the Big Book. Add all you want to it. Just don't take away from it. But yeah. So anyway, Justin, I appreciate you guys today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David and Nikki. My takeaway is one I find interesting. I've read this a million times, but I always understood it differently. We don't tire so easily, for we are not burning up energy foolishly as we did when we were trying to arrange life to suit ourselves. So often in the rooms I'll say, or I'll hear, when I was in active addiction, this, that, and the other. Yes, but it was when I was trying to arrange life to suit myself. It's all about the self that burns me out. If I'm trying to figure things out to make me go the way I want to go, I'm going to burn out and use energy foolishly. So that's my takeaway today. I'm so grateful to be sitting down with you three, and just what a blessing and miracle it is in my life. So anyways, everybody, keep coming back, keep diving into this book. We're going to continue on to working with others next time. So be ready to jump in and work with others. Keep coming back, work it. You are worth it.